Well, here's something you may not know. If you are hurt in a car accident, there may be more insurance money available to you to cover your medical treatment than you know. Richard Griffin with the Griffin Law Firm is here now to explain. What does that mean?
Well, the one thing that everyone should know is if you get in an accident, there is going to be, with serious injuries, there are going to be huge medical expenses. I mean, if you have to go to the hospital, if you have to have injections or, God forbid, surgeries, if you have fractures, and those bills are going to mean that if you don't get the recovery you need, then you're going to be stuck with those bills. So it's very important. And one of the things I do is I focus on finding every single policy, and there can be 3 or 4 or 5 policies that cover the same accident, and people don't realize that. The important thing is not only do you need to find them, but you've got a time limit for giving notice to a lot of them. So if you don't timely give notice to them, you're going to lose that coverage.
Money left on the table. You've got an example with a client.
I do. There was a really, really nice gentleman, and he was on his motorcycle, and he began to have engine trouble, and he was trying his best to get off the highway, and just as he was almost off the highway, another driver was glancing down and wasn't paying attention, and that looking down caused a huge problem because he collided with the motorcycle and threw the driver across, sliding across the expressway. So we had very, very serious injuries. And in that situation, he had, broken leg, he had a pelvic injury, didn't have a head injury, but he did have a neck and back injury, and he had elbow and arm. Lots of problems, lots of medical, and we were able to find, I believe there was 4 different policies. We had a $25,000 policy for the negligent driver. We had a $100,000 policy for the client. We had a $100,000 policy for the wife of the client that covered the claim, and then there was a $50,000 policy that the daughter had that covered the claim. So we were able to get $275,000, and we needed every bit of it to help him put his life back together, because without it, he would be stuck with huge medical bills, and that can throw your life into chaos, for sure.
Who knew that? I mean,
right.
You did, obviously. That's what you do. That's the point. Right. Now, you've got some graphics of some
I
different
do. I have a graphic I'd like to just to explain this because, we have the silly sign there that says no metal detection, no searching. The insurance company would love for you to only find that first pile of gold there, which is the liability coverage. That is the insurance for the negligent driver. That's on the police report. Everybody's going to find that. The next thing, and if you don't have a seasoned attorney, they may not know to look for the other coverages. Maybe they do. If you're on your own, you probably don't. But the personal UM is what I was talking about. That's usually the coverage that the person has that's injured.
All right, now UM meaning?
UM is uninsured or underinsured motorists.
Okay.
So that's where people don't think about their own policy, can have a underinsured policy, which means that if you don't have enough money recovered from the negligent driver, they're underinsured. You can then use your own policy, your underinsured motorist coverage, if you have it, to compensate that. You have to have a negotiation with the liability, and then you're going to have a limited release. Now, there's also, and what was also on that graphic was that you can have the car. You might be in someone else's car. Well, that car's automobile policy, if it has underinsured motorist coverage, that can cover as well. And then the one that people often forget about is the resident relative coverage, that one in the bottom lower hand corner there. That is one where if you have a family member that lives with you in your household and they have an automobile policy, that can cover as well, but you have to give them notice. Some of these policies have 30-day notice requirements, so if you don't get written notice to them timely, you lose those coverages. And for catastrophic injuries, we need to find 4, 5, 6 policies, and they're often there if you have an attorney that knows where to find them.
No. What if there isn't enough insurance to cover the claim?
Well, that is often, we've talked about that in the past. There are times where we've had people there's only been a $25,000 policy and $300,000+ in medical expenses, and when that happens, we are able oftentimes to negotiate huge reductions with the hospital to get that medical taken care of for $8,000 even. And there may not be much money for the injured party, and the attorney fee may have to be reduced, but we still make those ends meet to make the best out of that. So medical bill reduction, attorney fee reduction when it needs to happen to make it where the client's going to have a fair recovery. And then you always have the option of litigation, and sometimes there might be a situation where the individual has money and assets, and so you can litigate to try to get the personal assets to cover the claim. So those would be the 3 options.
Which is why, as you said, you need a seasoned, not an old attorney, a seasoned attorney.
Right.
Thank you so much, Richard. Don't forget to get the help you need. Contact the Griffin Law Firm. Call 877-PAIN-LAW. You can also log on to 877painlaw.com.